Hello, hello, and welcome to Hump Day Lunch Break Live. Just need to adjust my lighting there. It was getting a little bright. Okay, let's start our video here. So welcome. I hope you are enjoying the day. Here in Wisconsin, it is really hot. So I'm really glad to be in air conditioning and doing this from my studio. Today we have 2 quick cards. It's a twofer. So what does that mean? That means I'm doing one layout and we're making 2 different cards today. So super excited, quick and easy projects. And I'm just going to expand this so I can see. And if you're joining, please say hi. Let me know where you're joining from and what you're having for lunch today. I would love to know. I am going to be making some roast beef sandwiches. Can't wait. Oops. I need to turn that volume off. Okay, so let's go to the comments here and see who's all with us. Hi, Becky. Hi, Anita. Pizza. Sounds good. Really hot in Pennsylvania, too. So, Anita, where are you from? Okay, I'm going to grab out a couple of things while I'm just chit-chatting with you here. And I'll go ahead and show you the first 2 cards that we're going to be making. And we are going to make these 2 awesome cards. These cards are made simply from thick white, basic white thick cardstock and some designer series paper. And we're not going to be actually doing any stamping. We're going to focus on the Amazing Thanks dies. And I have a couple sitting out here because we're going to be using them. So you have a thanks and you have amazing. So one is like a thin cuts you can read, and one is a shadow. So we'll be using those today. I'm also using some paper that's going to be retiring at the end of June. This paper is still available, and let me tell you, it's on sale right now for $8. Normally the paper is $12. It's on sale for $8. And then I'm also going to pull in a couple different things. I'm pulling in the 2022-2024 in color Baker's Twine. I'm pulling in our Baker's Twine Essential Pack. You get quite a bit in there. And then I'm also pulling in these ladybug trinkets. And the reason I'm doing this is these are on our clearance rack right now, and they're only $3 for a container of 20. So really fun, really cute way to show up your card. And let's see if I can get this to be, oops, that's not what I want. Okay, I'd like to be able to see your comments. There we go. All right, so let's see. California, where it's nice and warm with a cool wind. Oh, yeah, it's really hot. And even though there is a breeze, it's still really hot and really muggy. It's supposed to cool off tonight, but we're going to hit storms. So that should be interesting because I have a team Zoom meeting tonight with our Ink Trails team. Super excited. I've got a really fun make and take projects for them. And yeah, we have some color challenges. We have a sketch challenge. And we did a team swap. So really fun things coming with that. If you're ever interested in joining our team, it's called the Ink Trails. Please let me know. You can do that by purchasing the starter kit, which is always $99. You get $125 of product of your choosing. And you get to pick out whatever you want. You pay the tax on it, but Stamp It Up pays the shipping. So it's awesome. And then after that, you get to receive a 20% discount every time you shop. So it's like always having that 20% off your total order coupon. Okay, let's get going on our projects. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab in my piece of thick basic white. Now when you're making one card, you might as well make 2, right? So that's why today is a twofer. So I'm going to first go ahead and turn this and score this at 5.5. When I'm using my thick white cardstock, I like to do my scoring and then I cut. It just makes it easier. And then I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4. Okay, so then I have 2 card bases. And this is what's commonly referred to as a hot dog card base because it's long. So just a little bit of trivia there for you. Oh, and I didn't score all that well on here. Oh, well. Okay, so when you do this and you don't have an even score, just make sure you flip over the longer side to be the front of your card. So otherwise you can simply go back in, line it up, And sometimes it happens if you're just not paying attention when you're scoring. And then just reburnish it with bone folder. We'll try it on this one. Just line that up. And then I like to press from the middle out just to get that score line nice and flat. Okay, there we go. Next, I'm going to pull in some Designer Series paper. So the paper that I'm pulling in, and this is what is on sale right now, and it's going to be retiring, is called Our Flowering Fields. And again, it's in the United States, it's $8.05. So here are just some of the different patterns that are available. I've used quite a bit of this. I use this quite often. I have done a lot of cards and a lot of projects with it. We've got some really beautiful flowers on one side and then like just a solid pattern on the other side. All right, so we'll get that out of our way. Whoops. Now that I just tore the bag it's in, guess I'll have to just put that aside. Okay, we're going to take a piece right here, and this piece will be cut down to be, oh, maybe I have this kind of, maybe I should zoom out a little bit here. Oh no, I should be okay. Let me know if I need to change the zoom on here if you can't see something. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this Designer Series paper down to be 5 1/4 by, well, and then I'm going to do 3 1 1/4 inch strips. So let's go ahead and trim this down. Decide which side you want to cut off first. I'm going to cut this part off. I'm going to switch my trimmer here so that you can see where I'm going. So I'm going to 5 1/4 and trim that down. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to 1 1/4. So I'm cutting 1 1/4 strips. Now, on our trimmer, Stampin' Up! Trimmer here, this outside edge is 1 1/2. So I know that this is going to be 1 1/4. So I'm just going to cut my 3 strips. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so those other pieces out. We'll take our white card base here. Let me bring that back in. And we're going to go ahead and adhere these strips back down. Now, I kind of did put them back when I was cutting them. I did put them in place so I knew which way they lined up. So this is how they all connected. I like to do that because when I layer it out, then it just seems like it all still flows together, even though there's spaces in between. So this is going to be my card front. Now, what I like to do is I like to get it all layered where I want it to be. And then what I do is I hold down one of them. So I'm going to put my bone folder on that, and I'm going to grab my middle piece here. And let's grab some adhesive. And I'm going to go ahead and just run some adhesive on here. And then I can take this and put it right in the middle, line up where I want it to be here. And then that way, if I move those 2 pieces off, I know where they have to go. I just find it easier to do that. If you like to work from one side to the other, you can, but this way I know they're going to be balanced, like they're going to be equally spaced. Okay. All right, so let's put that right here. Okay, so now our card base is kind of done. So let's go ahead and refresh my screen here. Make sure I'm seeing all the most recent comments. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another piece of, I just have a scrap of thick white cardstock here. It can be regular basic white. I've got a little smudgy on there, so I'm going to take my little eraser and get rid of that little smudge. Okay. I need a piece of Poppy Parade and a piece of Pool Party. Now, I am going to grab my dies, which I must have put back in my folder here, not intending to. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shadow, and that's what I wanted to cut out of Pool Party, so I'm going to put it on this one. And then this one, which is a little bit more detailed, I'm going to put on the Poppy Parade. But before I run this through my die cut machine, I want to tell you about some great tools to use when you're cutting out something that's going to end up like this and thin and really detailed. it's kind of hard to put your adhesive on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually grab this and use our adhesive sheets, and I'm going to put this right on here. Now I have a really long piece here, so I can actually trim that down. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. I'm just going to cut one of these out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this backing. And I'm just going to put this piece right on there. It doesn't have to be perfect to the edge. It's fine. It's a little bit larger. And then I'll fold that piece back over. I'll grab my scissors here and just cut out that section. I love doing this when it is a very detailed die, so I don't have to worry about getting glue everywhere. Now, if you don't have these, you can easily use your liquid glue and a little dauber or a sponge and kind of daub it on there. Okay, so I'm going to run that through. So let's bring in our mini die cut machine. And now this mini die cut machine is only about 3¼ inch wide. So if you notice, both pieces won't fit on here. So I'll just have to run them separate, which isn't a big deal. It's pretty quick. When you do this, make sure that your pieces are staggered. Your sandwich here is staggered. So what do I mean by that? So you have your base, you have your cutting plate, you have your paper, your die, and I'm just going to turn this way so I can talk about this. There's a line on that cutting plate. Make sure your paper doesn't go past that line. And it's just so this feeds through better. And then stagger the top plate just off a little bit. And it will help your die cut machine kind of grip on and grab those sandwiches. Other thing about using this mini die cut machine, you do need to use it on a surface that doesn't have a piece of paper on it, because it'll slide around, and you do need to actually hold on to it. And the reason is there's not a lot of weight to this machine, and if you don't do that, sometimes you have a challenge running it through. All right, so then we've got our shadow piece cut. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and do our, get all these little pieces off. We're going to do our detailed. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my sandwich staggered here. And now I'm talking about sandwich, I'm getting really hungry. All right. So just a quick project using your leftover pieces of designer series paper. So you know when you cut up your 12 by 12, sometimes you have those extra chunks left. Well, this is a great way to use those up. So go ahead and put that there. And pull this off. And let's go ahead. So now with this, sometimes these get, I don't want to say stuck, because they're not really stuck. But what you can do is you can just take your take-a-pick tool and pop these other pieces out, because those are pieces that we don't need. So I'm just going to pop it out. Now, if your die cut cardstock is still stuck in there, go ahead and take your take-a-pick tool or just something to just kind of poke through some of those holes. And now it pulls out just fine. All right. So now because I didn't actually cover that entire piece of cardstock, I have a little opening here so I can peel off that backing. And I want to do that carefully, being slow. Don't rip it off like a Band-Aid. Or maybe if you do Band-Aids really slow, you can do that. You want to remove this slowly, because what you can do is you can actually pull and stretch out your words and kind of bend that cardstock. So just remove it nice and slow. Take your other piece, and I've got some little things right there. So just pop those little extras out. And then start on one end and just layer that. So I'm going to get it where I want it. Now, this adhesive sheet is really sticky. So I try to do a letter at a time and get my letter really lined up. And that end likes to be a little sassy. All right. Okay, so now I got my thanks all done. So that was done in Pool Party and Poppy Parade. It picks up from the colors that are in my designer series paper. Now, going like that would be okay, but it's not really popping out. So I'm going to take it on a piece of our basic white here, and I want to trim a little banner edge. So what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and adhere this one first. And I'm just going to take some liquid glue. And because this is large enough, it's pretty easy just to dot some dots on there. just dot it. Did you know you're going to get music with your video today? Okay, so here we go. There. Now, I can see that it's a little wonky there, so I have room to slide it because I use that liquid glue. If I had used a really strong adhesive that like my Seal or my Seal Plus, it would be stuck there and I wouldn't really be able to move it. Using the liquid glue allows me to kind of move that around if I need to. I'm going to just trim some of this excess off because I don't want a really sharp banner. I want a very more subtle one. And usually I end up with my one side being bigger than the other when I do this. I'm just going to take my time here. There we go. And if I don't like it, I can trim it down a little bit more. All right, and we're just going to adhere that right to the edge of our card base, just like that. Before I do that, though, I want to add a little something, and this is where I'm pulling in my in color baker's twine. So you get the 5 new in colors, and I think there is like 10 yards on each roll. We're going to be using the Sweet Sorbet, and we're going to go ahead and add that to our background here. So I'm just pulling back up my card to see how I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and put quite a bit of adhesive. And I am using my Seal this time because the liquid glue just won't set quick enough for me. So I'm really covering this. And the reason is because I'm going to be taking this and I'm going to be wrapping it around. So I'm just randomly making some loops here. I'll show you another way to make loops in just a minute, but so I'm making them different sizes. And if your loop folds over, just, you know, use your adhesive there to kind of pull it apart. And we'll make one more loop here. I think we'll just have it going right to the edge. All right. And now I'm just going to take that, I'm going to push it down where I ended, and I'm going to snip it so that end is behind my cardstock there. Let's pull this guy out a little bit. All right, so I want my loopies just to show a little more than it is. I want to get this piece over here. There we go. All right, and now I'm going to flip that over and just put that right on my card front. There we go. And now I'm going to take those ladybug trinkets and I'm going to adhere some of those on there. Oh my goodness, I can't open this today. Just had it open a little while ago. Okay. I'm going to grab glue dots and get my first glue dot. Here it is. I'm going to take my little trinket here and go right on top of my glue dot. The glue dot is large enough to fit all the way around the edge of that little ladybug there. So now I'm going to lift it off, gently peel that off so you get your glue dot there. All right, we're going to go ahead and add another one. What a fun way to say thank you or happy birthday, and what a great way to use up your scraps. So go ahead and cut up your designer series paper. It's not meant to just sit in your closet or on your shelf. It's meant to be used and loved and shared. So make sure you cut it up. And let's see, we'll put one more. Oh, we'll just put it right, yeah, I don't want it right there. Let's see, let's put it right in the middle here. There we go. Okay, so that is our first card. Now, going with that same kind of layout, using the designer series paper and using the panels, I am going to clean up some of my little mess here. Makes it easier to craft. I am going to grab another piece of designer series paper. So this one has a whole bunch of tulips on it, and it has a great coordinating other side. So that's what we're going to use. So we're going to take this piece, and sorry, I just need to get to my card base here. Where I had it, I don't know where I put it. I know I have it here. Okay, come on. All right, so I got my dies. I just got my extra pieces of paper here that I'm trying to go through. Here it is. Okay. And this way I have my little sheet with my dimensions on it so I can tell you about that. Now I will post the dimensions, and I will post all the ingredients that I've used in these cards, not only to the Facebook page, but I will be uploading this to YouTube, so there'll be information there. So please make sure you go and check out my YouTube channel, watch some of my past videos. It's a lot easier to go and find my past videos up on YouTube. However, you can go to the playlist section of my Facebook page and find videos there as well. And also, if you go over to YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. That way, whenever you get logged into YouTube, you're notified, if you click the little notify bell, that I got a new video out there. All right, so enough talking, right? Let's get crafting. So now I'm going to take this piece here, and I'm going to cut a piece that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. Now this strip happened to be 6 by 12, so I know it's large enough for what I need. I'm going to go ahead and just slide this one into 3 7/8. Notice I have my pattern going this way. That is because my pattern needs to go up and down. If I was doing it this way, I would have my pattern changed this way. Okay. So right now I'm cutting the width. So I'm going to 3 7/8. Make sure I'm at my 7/8 mark there. All right, and we're going to trim that down. And my little scoring blade popped out. Okay, now I'm going to just put that piece aside. I don't need that. And now I'm going to trim this down to be 5 1/4. So decide what piece you want to cut off the end. And I'm hoping I'm in video here. Hello, Beth. All right, and let's see. All right, I think I'm going to zoom back out because I think I've been cutting off part of the video here. So let's see if I can zoom. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to turn this. I've decided that I want to trim off this top part. I really want these other flowers to go. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4. And because it's hard for me to see 5 1/4 over here, I'm just going to rotate my trimmer and go right over to 5 1/4. And zoom on down here. Zoop. Yep, you get lunch and sound effects today. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is, instead of cutting the 3 panels like I did on the previous card, I am just going to cut 2 panels. Yep, we're changing it up. So what I want is one strip that's 1.5 inches wide. I know again that the edge of my trimmer is 1.5 inches, so I can slide that right over there, right to the edge. I can put down my guide and hold it, and my guide will keep my paper in place when I trim. All right, so I've got my 2 pieces here. And I'm going to use this piece for this side right here. So let's bring in our card base, which is the thick white, which is 11 by 4 1/4. And we're going to adhere these 2 pieces of paper just like we did on the other panel. So take your designer series paper. I know that it's always fun. I love designer series paper, and Stampin' Up! Has some of the best colors and everything and patterns. But sometimes I find I love both sides and I don't know what to do. So this is a great solution. Now you can see both sides of that designer series paper. You can show off how pretty it is and enjoy the colors on both sides. Okay. So there we go. So that is our card base. Now, again, we're going to bring in a piece of, let's see here. I want a piece of Old Olive and a piece of basic white. So my basic white strip that I need now is going to be 1 7/8 by 4 inches. And again, this is what we're going to make the banner. Well, this piece we're going to be die cutting. So we'll just go to little over. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I just want to make sure that I have enough room for my thank you, my thanks. Okay. And I need a piece of my, oops, that's not it. Where'd it go? My Old Olive. And I'm going to cut this 2 by 4 inches. So I believe this is this is my 4-inch side. So I'm going to go right to 2 inches right here and cut a strip that is 2 inches. That seems actually pretty wide. I'm going to, well, you know what? I'm going to put my banner on there and then I'm going to trim it down. And I don't think yeah, no, I did that wrong. Okay, rewind. Okay, so I've got my 2 inches. Go ahead and cut it long enough. It's going to be trimmed down, but this is 2 inches by like 5.5. So go with 2 inches by 5.5. You are going to be trimming it down. We're going to be layering this piece right on there, but we wanted to have a little wiggle room. And then I need a piece of my designer series paper. So I have chosen this other pattern. So this is the pattern on one side and this is the other. So while, I mean, this would have been very pretty as well to use that and that together, I am going to actually take this kind of mango color side, and this is the side that we're going to actually cut out our things. Now notice I already have some of that adhesive strip on the back. Love, love, love this for really detailed things. So I'm going to go ahead and just run that through the die cut machine. Now this piece is going to be a little more challenging because my adhesive actually is all the way, covers the whole piece there. So it may be a little bit more fun to peel off. But you know what? It's a quick card. It's easy to do. If I have to take a few extra seconds to pull that apart, I'm good. All right. So I know what I needed that other 4-inch piece for. I needed this other 4-inch piece, the 2-inch by 4-inch, to cut my little background, my shadow out. So I'm kind of staying with Old Olive. You could pull in whatever other colors that you would like. Whatever matches your designer series paper, feel free to pull in. But this one, using that. All right, so let's run this one through real quick. All right, and this is a nice, easy die. I do like the amazing that's with it. So, and there is a coordinating stamp set. So after I do this, I'll pull in the coordinating stamp set so you can see what that looks like. And I'll also show you some samples that I made from it. Okay, move that right out of the way. So we've got our shadow. We've got our little extra piece here. Let's get all those extra schnibbles out. We don't need those. And again, I'm just going to poke through those holes there so I can pull this out of the die. Just like that. And oh, I do have some extra space there. Ooh. Okay, it's going to make it much easier to pull off. Maybe. Because it looks like I had, where it got cut off here is, there we go. Just got to do a little more work to get this one off. That's all right. There we go. Again, when I put this on, I'm going to slowly do this. Don't rush it. If you rush it, you're going to be frustrated. Mad at yourself. Don't do that. Enjoy your day. Just take a few moments. Take a deep breath. Relax. Enjoy what you're doing. And you know what? This is so much nicer to use than using liquid glue. Because right now, my fingers would have been filled with liquid glue. Just saying. And I'd be sticky and I'd be frustrated trying to get all my stuff put on. That's what happens with liquid glue. I do love liquid glue. I use it all the time. But it's kind of that love-hate relationship, you know? Okay. So I've got my card base. Now, I want to put my little things right on my white here. So let's go ahead. I am going to bring in my liquid glue. Again, love-hate relationship. As long as I use a little, it works out well. It's when it gushes out when you open a new bottle. As exciting as it is to have a brand new bottle, because then you're like, oh, you don't have to squeeze the daylights out of it. It comes out really fast and really thick. So again, I'm just dotting there. I'm going to lay it right on here. I'm putting that T pretty close to the edge so that I can cut my banner side. So again, we'll cut our banner. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. I had this piece a little longer so that I could kind of make my banner the way I wanted. You can make it a very sharp one, or you can make it just a nice and easy one. And I need to cut this one over. Okay, let's see. I didn't quite make that quite even, so let's go down a little bit more. And there we go. Okay. Now, if you really want it, if you need to have your banner just be perfect, mark it at, so this is 2 inches wide, mark it at your 1 inch, and then you can cut up to it. All right, sorry, I forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this right to our old olive. So I'm just going to use my runner here, my little seal. All right, and I'm going to put this right to the edge. All right, but I want to do it a little bit lower because I'm going to trim it down just a hair. Actually, I don't want it to the edge either. I'm going to trim it down to like 1/4 inch here. So I've got that laid out. So you notice it's a little wider than I needed. That's okay, because I can bring in my trimmer and I can slice it off. Now, here is a trick with the way I spaced it. I'm going to make sure that the edge of the paper is right on the edge of this guide. So it's kind of like, let me show you. So the edge of the guide is right here. So when I put this down, I want that white right on that edge. Let's move this out of the way. Right on the edge. And now when I slide this through, it will be right where I need it to be. And I can do it for the other side to make sure that that was even too. So I'm going to slide it right over here. Make sure it's all even. Just slide that down there. Okay. And now I'm just going to take my snips and I'm going to just snip it where I need it to be. Okay. Or if you're really good at cutting straight lines, maybe you want to just freehand it. I am not good at cutting straight lines, so I need all the help I can get. All right. There we go. Okay, sticking up a little bit, we'll just pop in a little more seal right there. There we go. Okay, now before I adhere this piece on, I'm going to bring in our Baker's Twine Essentials. So this has crumb cake, vanilla, black, gray, and white. We're going to be using our white. And on the back of this, I am again going to put adhesive, and I'm going to put a fair amount on there. Because not only do I want this to hold to the card, I want it to hold my Baker's Twine. Now here's another way that you can do your Baker's Twine. Wrap it around your hand very loosely, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and trim it down. Okay. Now you can pull this apart and have it a really hot mess, just like that. Or what I like to do, I actually will take one piece right here in the middle and I'll just start making loops. So I'm going to go right here. I'm just going to keep rotating my little tag here. And it's not meant to be straight, not meant to be perfect, a perfect circle. If you want it to be, well, try and figure out a good technique for that. I don't know. I try to make things quick and easy and not frustrating for myself. So sometimes I just want to just play, and this is kind of like playing. All right, so we'll put that there. And then this one will finish up right here, and I can stick it right on some of the seal so it holds it in place. And now I can flip this over and put it right on, kind of more in the middle of my card, and I'm just going to go right to this, over this edge. As long as my points don't go past there, I'm good. There we go. So this is more in the middle. That's because my Baker's Twine had so much on it. And then we'll bring in our little Ladybug trinkets. Again, these are on sale. So the designer series paper itself is $8.05 in the US. And the trinkets are $3. So if you go to my online store, you can get some of that now. It is, the Ladybug trinkets are on clearance. Again, I will put a link and item number and everything so you can shop in my online store. So you can get all these great deals. Now, this stamp set and die is in our current catalog, so it'll be there for a while. And I'm just going to put that one right there. Okay. So now let me bring in, oopsie, I turned down my light a little bit. There we go. Let me bring in some other cards that I've done using the stamp set. So here's the stamp set that coordinates with it. Now the dies are all phrases. So we have amazing and you and you are amazing and thank you. Okay. And this silhouette one right here is just another way. So I just use a couple different colors here. Added another little sentiment stamp set just so I could have some variation. I played around with these quite a bit. Whoops, I put this one upside down, didn't I? There we go. So very happy for you. So whatever sentiment set you have, you can very easily use this. And then you are absolutely amazing. I just distressed that little edge a little bit, add a little ribbon, and voila. So let's bring back in our first card here. So here is our thanks. Okay, so we have them both in there. All right. So thank you for joining me today for lunch. I hope you have a most wonderful day and have a great weekend. Hey, it is almost Friday, so something to be very excited about, right? Okay, well, take care. Love you all. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget, share this video with your Facebook friends. If your friends aren't on Facebook, and I do have a lot of friends that aren't, send them the link to my YouTube channel and check it out there. I'll put the link of the YouTube channel in the comments as soon as it gets loaded. It takes me about an hour or two to get that uploaded. All right. See you later.